Hi, I'm Elizabeth Hutchinson, a trainer and advisor for school libraries. I've worked in and around school libraries for about nearly 20 years now, and I work with a tool called FOSIL, which is a framework of skills for inquiry learning. Over the last few months, a lot of people have been asking me about FOSIL and are looking for a general explanation for it before they actually jump in and start using it. So I thought I would do a very quick video about what is FOSIL and how to use it. What is it? An explanation of it. Hopefully it's what you need and you'll want to jump straight in afterwards. All of the information will be on the screen below. And obviously if you ever have any questions, then please just contact me and ask. So let me start by sharing my screen. Okay, so I think it's important that you understand where FOSIL comes from. So FOSIL is rooted in a student-centered process approach to library and information literacy skills instruction in the 1980s. FOSIL grew out of the New York City Empire State Information Fluency Continuum via Barbara Strickland's model of inquiry. As you can see from this slide, it has solid foundations. The Empire State Information Fluency Continuum serves more than 3.2 million children in 4,236 schools in the New York State alone. Barbara and the Empire State Information Fluency Continuum are now very closely connected to FOSIL. So I think it's important that you understand that Darrell Turian, who's the creator of FOSIL, has spent the last 10 years creating this model based on work that's been in development since the 1980s, meaning it is a well-researched and used model and it is still developing. It is a free tool created in the UK and is open access to everyone. So FOSIL is an approach to learning through inquiry, both curricular, which is curriculum content, and extracurricular, such as things like the EPQ or the extended essay. There are six stages to the cycle: connect, wonder, investigate, construct, express, and reflect. And each serves a different purpose. Each stage has a colour, so students and teachers can easily recognise where they are in the cycle. The very simple graphic is, however, just an overview of the process, and I want to now talk you through FOSIL and what all the stages mean. But before I do, I want to point out that just because I'm showing you the whole cycle doesn't mean that every time you want to use FOSIL that you have to do it all. You also need to recognise that although this is a tool to help teachers and librarians collaborate, it is not possible or essential that the librarian is involved in every time a teacher wants to use the framework, although the school librarian should definitely be involved in the planning of any FOSIL inquiry. So each stage needs to be purposeful in informing and energising the inquiry learning process. Connect is where we focus on supporting students to make connections. Students don't live in a bubble and usually know something about the subject from what they've seen on TV or the internet, by talking to parents and peers, etc. So help them establish a context and help them to understand that they are getting ready to learn more about this topic through asking questions as they read. Their reading now has a purpose. This is where a school librarian and teachers will collaborate. The teacher can present the topic, teach the knowledge, and introduce the subject. The school librarian then has the opportunity to provide them with resources to gain background knowledge and knowledge for themselves, while also sharing the inquiry process. In other words, show them the plan for the whole process like I am showing you today. Explain what the different stages of the cycle mean and help them understand the journey they're about to embark on. As the students learn more about FOSIL, there's obviously no need to explain the process every single time, as they will become familiar with it. So this is also now about helping students see and understand themselves as inquirers and to invest themselves in the inquiry because it's relevant and it matters to them, which in turn changes the way we see and understand the school librarian's role. Wonder is about nurturing a sense of curiosity and a sense of wonder by exploring the topic through reading and asking questions, such as what do I want to find out? What if? What would somebody else say? Why? Wonder is where a student identifies their own bias and understanding of a topic and need to start asking questions. What else is important? What has been missed out? What is the deeper meaning? This can start with an overarching question from the teacher, but then expand through the students' own questions. It's not about answering their questions at this stage, it's about creating more questions to help scaffold their understanding. These questions will help them find the information they need in the next stage in order to build knowledge and understanding. Investigate is where the school librarian's media and information literacy skills mainly comes into play. Creating lessons around different types of sources and the organisation of information, navigation and search strategies, evaluation, selection, curation, and the use of multiple sources are lessons that all school librarians should be supporting. However, there's so much more to investigate, as it's about helping a student to begin to make sense of the information that they found. Can they work with it? How do they feel about it? Inquiry is an interactive activity which is based on the information to knowledge journey. It involves cognitive, social, emotional, and cultural competencies and recognises the importance of the human perspective, personal interpretations and understanding, or empathy with the perspective of others. This stage of inquiry can often lead to anxiety. There can be feelings of being overwhelmed by too much information or doubt in finding what they need are very common. And in knowing and recognising this, school librarians can help students navigate their way through the process. If I'm honest, I find construct one of the best parts of the cycle. That how often do students just throw everything that they found into the end product, regardless of whether it's answered a question or not? Construct is not about building the end product, but rather helping the students come to an understanding of their own learning. Students need to ask themselves, do I understand what I've learned? Can I explain it? Do I need everything I found? Does it answer my question? This stage is about continuing to read more deeply around the subject and understanding that not everything they collect and read they will need. This stage can also lead to frustration, but a great place to explain that not using everything they found and read was not a waste of time, as it led them to a deeper understanding of their topic. Students are encouraged to reread notes reflectively, reflect on both internal knowledge, experiences and feelings, and external knowledge, the new information acquired during the investigation, their own interpretations and responses to that information. This stage seeks to develop empathy, or the ability to understand another's perspectives, feelings, and actions based on the context, extend understanding by taking multiple perspectives to interpret information and challenge their own thinking. Finally, asking them to synthesize and conceptualize how all of their information and interpretations can be brought together into new understanding. This is what school librarians are actually collaborating with teachers on. If students have not gained some knowledge-based understanding arising from their inquiry, we are doing something wrong. Express is not about sharing the information that they have found, but about sharing what they have learned, their knowledge and understanding, with information and evidence to support that. It's about creating of a product to communicate and share new understandings. Skills at this stage often include attention to audience and clear purpose for sharing. Engaging with authentic products that require thinking during the creating process, which include how to effectively present or plan out an essay. And finally, when the students truly engage with the inquiry process and have gained an understanding, can express new ideas and share their learning, they grow in self-confidence and authority through academic integrity. Imagine the difference listening to a presentation where a student is not just giving you lots of information they've gathered, but truly explaining why it's all important and what it means to them. This is the gold standard in student learning and what we're all working towards. Finally, while there is clearly reflection going on in each of the stages, the formal stage of reflect is about self-assessment of process and the product produced by the inquiry process, reflecting on personal growth and plans for involvement in future, and acknowledging that there are still more questions to be pursued. The reason I think it's important to show you FOSIL framework first is it gives you an overview of all that it's about. It's important to understand that this framework that runs from reception to year 13 and can be taught progressively throughout your school. This ensures that by the time your students are in year 12 and are doing something like the EPQ or a private independent research, they have embedded skills in order to be able to tackle it well. So how do you find the skills framework? You can look at this skills framework from the FOSIL cycle tab, and the arrow is pointing to where you will find it. Once you are on the skills framework page, you can download this resource as an Excel document. Underlying the FOSIL cycle is a framework of skills based on the Empire State Information Fluency Continuum, showing the progress of inquiry skills over a student's time at school. Mapping these skills in order to make sure that they are taught effectively, and there are plenty of disciplinary and interdisciplinary opportunities for students to practice as they move through the school, is a vital part of planning for effective inquiry learning. So this is a very small snapshot of the whole document. Again, it's important to point out that you can see the colours of the stages of the cycle, and that this skills framework runs from reception to year 13. What you can see on the screen, excuse me, is the skill set and skills for year 7 from Connect, Wonder and Investigate stages. As you can see in the final column, some of the resources are cross-referenced to the Empire State Information Fluency Continuum graphic organizer and will help you teach and assess these skills. As you can see, this graphic organizer on the left asks the students to think about their questions through guiding them with questions and the need to think about themselves. These graphic organizers can be used as assessment tools to see how well the students have understood the activity and if they need more help and guidance. If you feel that this would be too difficult or too easy for your students, you're able to find other options from the skills framework that may be better. These are static resources. On the right, you can see a graphic organizer from the FOSIL website. Any graphic organizer you find can be downloaded as a Word document and edited to fit with what you are teaching and the level your students are at. The nice thing is that you don't have to start from scratch. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and just finally say, FOSIL is a tool that is freely available. It's something that is being used by schools across the country, by school librarians and teachers. If you do want any more information, then please feel free to contact me. I'm more than happy to talk to you about how you can use it in your school. Thank you for listening.